Hello, everybody. This is Mark Perry once again for Tips Tuesday. Man, this kind of reminds me of when I was back in high school. I was a teen reporter at WCHB for Taylor Center High School, walking around the halls of Taylor Center and bringing out the news of the high school. That was some crazy times. Butterball Jr. was on the air back then. I'm going back a long ways, folks. But, Tips Tuesday is really about doing some more exciting things of what's going on right now. We talk about building your brand and a lot of PR tips that we have to offer. In fact, let's bring on the expert that's going to be on here with me today, and that's my lovely wife, Pam Perry.
How you doing?
All right. Yeah, gym shoes and pearls. She's dressed up to the nines.
Okay, don't talk about what I got on my Hey, there's Aubrey.
Oh my goodness, Aubrey? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hey Aubrey, how you doing?
Oh my God. So say
that's
hi.
Not Aubrey. That's Peppy.
No, I'm just saying. You know how he always likes to get in. He heard Aubrey. He heard Aubrey's name. Hey, Pep. All right. So anyway, so we're doing Periscope right now. We're doing Facebook and we're doing YouTube Live on Tuesday. We are ready, set. Okay. So what are we talking about today?
Today, let's talk about how to get ready, how to get your brand ready.
Yes.
How to get your brand ready.
How to get your brand ready. It's all about names. It really is. It's about naming. Like we named our child Aubrey, has a meaning, right? That's your middle name. So we want to keep it in the family. Naming is everything. People can say it. People can spell it. Naming is everything. I won't get into like the names.
Thank you.
But you want to be consistent. So if you have a company name and you want to name it, change it, your domain name is different from your company name. That can be a problem because then people can't find you, or you have a different domain name that is different than your email address. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that really make a difference because people are looking for you. We're in the world of search. And let's see. I'm going to show Aubrey's thing over here.
I remember a friend of mine that had a business, and he put AA in front of whatever the name of the business was. So why'd you do that? He says, I want to be top of the list when people started looking down in this category. So, people use different strategies for coming up with names. Some of it's, if a name, maybe it's a name that you have, it's been recognized already and something else that you've done, you wanted to carry over and borrow that equity. That's a reason to do it like that. Sometimes it's to maybe describe exactly what it is that you do, so people will know very quickly the kind of business that you're in or service that you're providing. So there's a number of reasons why you'd come up with a particular name.
So domain names are tricky. So one of the main things with the domain name is that you have to be able to say it on the air. So PamPerryPR.com or ReadySetGoSpeak.com. If you put some numbers in it for whatever, it's like, but not the letter, but not FORE, it's the number 4. So now you've made it combobulated. Or if you're using the word one, but not the letter 1, it's ONE1, or not so when you're creating domain names, think about how you're going to say it on the radio, on a podcast, because when people are too confused, they will just say, oh, forget it. It's too hard. Right. So you want to make sure when you're doing those domain names, and then always try to use a .net. I mean a .com, and not a .net or a .biz or a .liv or a there's so many, but .com, because it's a normal way where we're going to listen. If I say markperryonline.com, I won't say markperryonline.net. I mean, it's just confusing. So domain names, I find that like the main thing that messes people up when they're just going to GoDaddy and they're trying to figure out a domain name. Make it something that's easy to spell,
right?
Something easy to say. Mm-hmm. That brand goes over and over and over again. And so
I'm using that. That's right.
Yeah. And so when you do have a domain name that goes to the other thing, that it should match your company name. So my company, 20 years old this year, Ministry Marketing Solutions.com, but because so many people had a lot of problems, maybe it's so long, they couldn't spell solutions. Some people couldn't spell ministry. So it's really PamPerryPR.com. So you'll find everything you need there. But if you do go to Ministry Marketing Solutions, it forwards to PamPerryPR.com. For tax purposes, it's Ministry Marketing Solutions Incorporated, right? So you have to realize that your name doesn't always have to be what your domain name is, but make it so that it's brandable. That's all I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about what is brandable, right? So that goes to email addresses. So PamPerryPR.com. And then my email is Pam@PamPerryPR.com. Don't say PamPerryPR@gmail.com. You won't find it. You won't find me at the in between of the Gmail. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right things to set yourself up as a business, as a legitimate, functioning, well-branded business. Those are the type of companies that get publicity, right?
It's positioning.
It's positioning. It really is. It's about positioning. And so the other thing too that people get all hung up on is logos. So you see our new little logo in the corner there, right? Ready, set, go, speak. And so people kind of get like, well, what is that about? So let me explain this logo, right? I've always loved logos, like since high school. Creative writing, we had to study logos. I studied like logos for airlines and study logos for buses.
It's the science behind it.
It's so creative. So this one here, color wise, red, black, and green. Anyone who is African American knows those colors, red, black, and green, automatically relates to African descent, right? But it has the gold in there because of star. And then also too, if you're Jamaican, you'll also notice that those are the colors of the Jamaican flag. So again, it's kind of like an African kind of vibe to it. If you go to readysetgo.speak, you'll actually see me in like a dashiki type of outfit. Okay. So yeah, this is the year of Blackly Black. Okay. So yeah, so it's all Blackly Black. Pink is kind of going to be gone out of the way, and it's all about being black. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter logo.
Black speakers matter. Black businesses matter. It's just about black, right? Right. That's like, it's our time. It is our time. Like Black Girl Magic, it's our time. So the other thing, let me look at the comments here. Of our comments. Hold on one second. Let me edit the post. Hold on one second. Make it public, and now we're good. Now we're good.
Oh, okay. Nobody knew we were here talking, huh?
Yeah, well, it's okay because Periscope people did, but Facebook, Facebook has this little thing. So anyway, so we were talking about these logos. So the Ready Set logo, Ready Set Go Speak logo, Ready Set Go, red, black, and green, and Speak is again in black. Goes with Speakers Magazine because that's what I'm about, having speakers put out the best brand to get the best PR, to really get the exposure, get the platform, get the stage, get the shine, which is why there's a star there, right? And a microphone, apropos, right? That's why. So you get the shine, you get the microphone, you get the Ready Set Go Speak. So anyway, it took a while to get that because now Ready Set Go Speak is launching in the fall. But the logo is one of the things that you put out first in terms of a brand, right? It's a brand. It's one of the first things. So now it becomes alive. It becomes a living thing. It becomes a living thing. So a lot goes into really creating a brand.
So what else is in terms of getting yourself brand ready that you need to have?
We go through this all the time. We talk about it, but photos are important. Photos are important. Photos are important. And you need more than just like the basic headshot. You need a brand shoot. You need other photos that show you in different things. We did a brand shoot not too long ago. Remember, we had the computers, we had the microphone, we had all of that. They were props. So props matter. And it depends on what you're going to use the photos for. Some photos are vertical, and then there's some that will be horizontal. You can't have them all taken the same way because then you won't be able to use them in different marketing materials. That's what we're using them.
I'm going to ask you that in terms of settings. I mean, should you be in some public buildings? Do you need to have a bland background or a white background? Or,
I mean, for the most part, you do want to have, I would say, as much as you can in the natural way where you are going to be showing up on scene. Now, obviously, you could go to somebody's mansion and take a photo shoot there, but you're not really being authentic if you're not really a multimillionaire, right? So you want to take them in spots where, people would see you in an office setting. It could be your own office, right? You can take photos in areas like a coffee shop, places where you regulate, where people will actually see you and find you. But for the most part, you have a background, you have a basic background like you have, that's fine. But make it coincide with your brand. I have a photo shoot planner that I have in Ready Set Go that is part of the program, which is part of what I teach about how to tell your photographer what you're going to use your photos for. So if you're going to use it as a podcast cover, if you're going to use it on your website, if you're going to use it on your business card, they need to know what it is. And then what it is, understanding who your customer is. If your customer is a younger audience, then you're going to dress younger. If your audience is an older audience, then you're going to be more conservative. Those are little things that are what I call cues, that the way you dress has that cue to that audience that they are familiar with me. They know me. I understand them. I like them. It's all about getting that know, like, and trust factor immediately.
Do you
And
recommend having a stylist?
yes, I do, especially if you don't know style. So a stylist just takes it to a whole nother level. Now you don't have to try to look like gonna win a beauty pageant or anything like that, but you do need a stylist that will help you. I just saw a stylist for Tamla Mann, okay, and she looked amazing. She's been losing weight for like a couple of years, but her outfit that she had on the other day, she was in all white basically, and it was an outfit that was just out of this world. And it was something that the stylist saw for her and picked. Now she could have went shopping and found that, but I doubt it. People like that need stylists because she's been losing weight over a period of years. So now she's at a certain size. And so a stylist says, this would really work for you, because she's probably used to shopping a certain way. Like, oh, I'm going to find something like this. It's kind of baggy, whatever, I'm not saying any shade to her or anything, but I'm just saying that now that the stylist sees something that she doesn't see, and it just blew up. And a stylist just gives you that crisp look. They'll put the right accessories on you, the right colors that go with your brand. The photo shoot, also too, you give that to the stylist as well as the photographer, because your photo shoot planner will also explain who you are trying to reach, what kind of things that you're trying to portray in these photos, whether like this, very serious, or kind of light and airy, or you're trying to show a holistic health look. I mean, they will know from that photo shoot planner, so they can pick the right things and put you in the right scenes.
And also, it can, your location in terms of scouting locations. Because, you want to, as a photographer, you'd like to be able to get as many different looks as you can out of one location.
Yes, yes.
And that's just efficient use of their time, particularly if you're paying somebody. You're paying about an hour.
And they love daylight. They love natural light. Is the best light. Natural light is the best light. So of course you want to do that. So with us, we have different backgrounds, right? So Zoom is a whole nother thing about trying to figure out your brand. So for me, I have the Dream Big pillow in the background. I have Speakers Magazine in the background. Speakers Magazine calendar blow up. So those are just because they're not really out front, like in my face, but they're in the back enough for interest. Okay. So those are the different things. For you, you have the background where if you were going to do a green screen, you could actually have it so you could show different offices and that sort of thing. So people wonder, well, how does he get these different backgrounds, or how does she do those different backgrounds? It's because it's the studio. He's in our TV studio where he has a blue screen, and show them. Can you show some of the microphone that you have, some of the equipment?
Oh.
Pull that over a little bit. Yeah. So that right there is a pop filter, and you have the wind. The pop filter. And then what is the thing that you put over the microphone?
Oh, that's the windshield.
The windshield and the pop filter, those type of things.
The pop filter.
Yeah. Now he's Marc does voiceovers, so he does those kind of things. But for the long time, having that kind of stuff at home was unheard of. He always had to go to a studio, but now we have a studio at home. Part of it is that we had to rush to kind of do this because of COVID, but you already had that part anyway, because what's around you besides being being the green screen or the blue screen, so you could do the background for Zoom, but also helps in terms of sound.
Right.
Sound is important. And so when we're talking about speakers that have to be ready, set, go, and they have to be ready for a virtual stage, they need the equipment.
Yeah,
And
before you get to that point, or I should say before, but another part of your brand, of making your brand ready, is making your brand ready for social media. Talk about that.
being ready for social media. So everybody has the same thing on social media. You do the same thing basically on all of them. They all have what I call the big real estate, right? They all have banners. You got one on Twitter, you have one on Facebook, you have one on your pages, you have one on your group, you have them on LinkedIn, you have them on YouTube. They should all probably match or have some representation so they all represent the same thing as a brand. So if a media personality is trying to find out information about you and they look on one thing and it's something else, and then on another social media you're something else, it confuses people. And then it's like, well, you know what, this person's not really real. They're changing every 15 minutes and I don't want them on my show. Okay, because they're just confused. So you want to make sure, obviously, your picture is the right picture. You want to have the right headshot. And I would say at the very beginning, when you're just really trying to establish yourself as a brand, to keep that photo for a while. When I say a while, keep it for the year, the same photo, because people will then get used to it. Brand builds on consistency over time.
Right.
So a lot of people says, Pam Peer, I heard that name before. It's because it's been over time. It's been 20 years. So
Good tip.
it's been over
That's a
time.
good tip.
So you want to make sure that those all match. And you can get them done in Canva. You can have your designer do it. You can have a branding person do that for you. But you want to make sure that's all consistent all the way across, right? And another thing that's really, that we use every day. We use it every day, not our phones, but email. We use email every day. So a lot of times you'll send out an email and there's no email signature. So it could be someone new that's a prospect,
Right.
it could be a client that you want to remind them. Maybe you have a book, put that link in your email. Or maybe you have a new program, Ready, Set, Go, Speak. Put that link in your email.
Mhm.
Those are the things that's branding. If you can even put a picture in there if you want to. It's like, well, what does that person look like? You know, make sure the picture's current. Okay, don't be trying to put in there like a high school picture and you've been out of school 30 years. Okay, so you want
Right.
to make sure that it's like when
It should
you
be
show up,
connected in your photos that you just talked about. You know,
yeah. So
it
when
should
you
become,
show up, they know who you are,
right. Yeah.
and that they're not surprised. Like, that's not the person I saw in that photo. They look a lot older now.
So as you're developing and making yourself brand ready, there's also opportunities for content in terms of talking about who you are, that content creation. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
talk about that.
So for speakers, they're going to create content based on the type of speeches that they give. They're going to create content on their blog.
Right.
They're going to do content for articles. I'll give you a good example. Nicole Roberts Jones, she's a bankroll your brilliance expert, right? And she talks about that all the time, how to make your purpose your paycheck. So all of her articles have to do with that. It tells her story and it tells about that. Now, is she going to write about her favorite banana pudding? No, that's like off brand. Is she going to write about politics? No, that's off brand. So if you have something that you speak on regularly, you need to show your expertise by being an author on that. Now, obviously you have books. You want to, if you are an authority, you need to have a
Right.
book. You're an author that's an authority and you're going to speak. So that's one of the things I want people to know, that books sell when you speak. When you speak, you need to have a book to sell you as a speaker. It just helps. Trust me, I've worked with T.D. Jakes. I've worked with Dr. Cindy Trim. I've worked with Dr. Sujay. I've worked with a lot of different speakers, fabulous speakers. But what was it? They all had books.
Right.
That's what was making news, and that's how they got on the different TV programs and the radio programs and in the magazines. Bonnie St. John,
Right.
Bonnie St. John. Oh my God, she still is a phenomenal speaker.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, I mean that really goes right into your media outreach, of being able to being ready to leverage that.
Right. So when you're reaching out to the media, what do you have new? What's new? Okay, you're a speaker. Okay, so what's new? What's news? What is it? What is it? Your content that is making it relevant for what's going on in the news cycle. I talk about the news cycle. What's going on in the news cycle
Mhm.
right now? Politics is all in the news cycle,
Right.
but also too, there's still obviously the news cycle about health and COVID and all of that. But you still have to pay attention to the news cycles, and that is one of the main things. So you want to make sure that you have the look, you have the sound, you have the content, you are ready on social. People can click a button and Google you, and everything good comes up on page one.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good SEO. I mean, so you have podcasts, like you have good sounding. Now, let me say something about these podcasts.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
with these podcasts, and they sounding real crazy. You need to make sure that they sound good, because I'm not going to listen to your podcast if it sounds like it was done in some tin can and you did on the phone. And there's certain things that I'll teach and Ready, Set, Go speak about how to put together a podcast by using Audacity, how to edit it. Very simple. You don't have to be a tech, but you do have to know what good sound is and know how to put it together. All right.
How do you identify groups to be associated with that, do you want to belong to?
There's a ton of Facebook groups, and don't be putting people in groups that don't ask to be put in the groups. So there's so many groups. And so one of the things I teach is partnering, how to partner with people. There's a lot of people that I associate with that I haven't met face to face, but we do business together. We talk. I just reached out today to Tanya Smith. So I said, "Hey, Tanya, how's it going?" And we were been in groups together. We've seen each other in groups over and over. And sometimes you'll see the same people in the same groups, and then you kind of feel like I know who they are. Or there's another young lady, Andrea Patrick. Okay, we follow each other on Instagram, and then we see each other maybe in a group on LinkedIn, and then we follow each other. So that's how social networking should work. Not spamming people, but you're grouping like-minded people together. If there's a speakers group, you should join that. On LinkedIn, there is a speakers magazine group. So folks who have been in speakers magazine or want to be in speakers magazine are part of that group. That's
one of your greatest examples is BSN.
Yes, BSN. Black Speakers Network is a community of Black speakers that are networking together. Exactly. And also the National Association of Black Podcasters. That's a group on Facebook as well. And I had my clients tell me the other day, and love it when clients listen and they learn. So Erica says, she says, you know what? I've been on a lot of podcasts, and I'm getting on a lot of different podcasts because I've joined different podcast groups, and I find that they're looking for guests. I said, how about that? Podcasters, and the podcasters are looking for guests. Wow. And you raise your hand and you're ready. She's ready now. She wasn't ready before because her brand was not cohesive or together, but now it's together. When your brand is together, you feel real confident about pitching yourself. So people say, oh, I'm going to teach people how to pitch or whatever. You can pitch yourself if you're confident and you have the right tools and you have examples. You have examples, and then run the pitch by a publicist and say, how does it sound? Or run the pitch by a media person, which is what I'll have in go Ready, Set, Go speak. Media people say, that's okay. I probably wouldn't pick that up. And say, well, why? And they'll tell you why. Because these are my friends. I've been in media for I was a publisher of the magazine, right? Worked for the Free Press, worked for the radio station for 7 years, WNIC, worked as a TV producer for CTN, for the Christian Television Network, magazine. Remember other magazine I had, Soul Source, the Michigan Chronicle, that was insert. So I've been around this for a while, and I know what works. It's people pitch me, and I get press kits and that sort of thing. I know what works and what doesn't, what people hate, what people like. So you need someone to tell you that. And everyone is different, because an author who's a ministry author is different from someone who maybe has a vegan restaurant, right? Their pitch is different. So every pitch is different based on what it is that their brand is telling them, what their brand is displaying.
So somebody's listening to you today and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, she's mentioned a few things I know I don't have together yet. What can they do? Where can they go to get that information in a little bit more detail, what you've just kind of quickly went over with today?
Because you rushed me along, we didn't talk about certain things, but that's okay.
You hit about just about all of them.
Kristen Joy. So one of the things that people can do, they can go and listen to my audio series on PamPerryPR.com. I do a audio series for 5 lessons on how to get publicity. That's one, because I can't go over everything. And each one is about 15 minutes or so. So you kind of hit it, because I think a lot of people just don't know how it really works, the whole process, but it helps them get in that mindset. And if you go and follow me also too on LinkedIn. I did a little quick one today about how to get your publicity together as
Mhm.
well. That was a short 10-minute video. So please go over to LinkedIn. You know why? Because LinkedIn is one of the places where I hang out the most. Now you think I love Facebook. I do. I don't want them to like, they could cut you down or whatever. But I really love LinkedIn the most. I do. I really do. So go over there. That's where I put my best tips. But anyway, go to readysetgospeak.com. Get on the waiting list for the program. The program is coming out in the fall, and it's more like a mentoring. It's a coaching where I will be coaching you one-on-one. It's a training for me where every month I'm doing a webinar. It's also where you would actually meet my media friends, my media buddies, right? And they'll actually
Wonderful.
listen to your pitches. I'll put people on the hot seat and I'll rebrand them and say, okay, well, this is what I see for you. This is how we're going to rebrand. So it's everything that I've done over my career for the last 2 decades, all into one little program that's organized.
ReadySetGo.com.
Yes, readysetgospeak.com.
ReadySetGoSpeak.com. That's what it says on the screen, right? Right below me.
How about that? That's a good thing. So
Yeah, there we go.
readysetgospeak.com. And
ReadySetGoSpeak.com.
it's really for those that really want to increase their exposure, visibility, get known, and really just the whole point of it is like, okay, I have something burning inside my heart. How do I get it out there? So it shows you how to get out there and how to get known every single month. That's what we're going to be doing. And listen, I'm telling you, one of the things that I really want to talk about, one more thing, is about media outreach. So I talked about love LinkedIn, and Facebook has my love, Instagram, we got our thing, and Periscope. But you want to make sure that you get on Twitter. Media loves Twitter. So if you have not tweeted in 2 years, get up on Twitter again, okay? Tweet something, retweet something at the very least. A lot of people say, I'm not going to get on Twitter because 45 is always on Twitter. Well, whatever. Get on Twitter because the media's on Twitter. That's what you do. You could block them. You could block 45 if you want to. Just block his tweets.
All right. With that,
announcement.
we're going to wrap up Tips Tuesday.
All
And
right.
see you back here next Tuesday.
All righty. Thank you, Mark Perry.
Thank you, Pam Perry.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.